Hello and welcome to my Halloween special. Now you might be wondering, who am I dressed up as? To that I might say, isn't it obvious? I'm Jane from Breaking Bad, but that's besides the point. Today we're going to be talking about the most wholesome game in the world, Stardew Valley, where you spend your days blissfully tending to your crops, caring for your animals, falling in love, and relaxing to your heart's content. Where nothing bad ever happens, right?
Wrong!
Stardew Valley's massive world has some deep lore, and fans have noticed that not everything in Pelican Town is normal. Underneath those happy little pixels are some darker truths that are waiting to be revealed. Pelican Town is home to some strange theories and some unsolved mysteries. Over the past 7 years that the game has been released, many different conspiracies have gained popularity across the community, and I wanted to discuss some of the most eerie ones I could find, because, you know, 'tis the season, am I right? So, let's go ahead and jump into it. One of the rarest events in Stardew Valley allows players a glimpse at an unspecified green creature. If you decide to fish dockside next to Willie's shop, there's a very rare chance that a creepy monster will appear dockside to stare at you from a distance. And you can't fish it up. The unnamed creature will simply just swim off the screen, leaving players confused and wondering if what they just saw was actually real life or not. The green creature will pop its head out, bob in the water, and just watch quietly. You can't interact with it at all, and not much is even known about this beast. Some have assumed it's a mer person, given that this race makes an appearance in Stardew Valley festivals. The mer people are creatures that live in the ocean. The wizard refers to them in his dialogue at the luau, where he says, "The mer people are curious about your festivities. They become upset when you litter into the ocean." But the thing is, the mermaids at the festivals, these mermaids look more like your typical depiction of merfolk, as beautiful women who are half fish. The green sea creature looks nothing like these mermaids, indicating that it might be an entirely different species. Some have theorized that this might be the male equivalent to the female mermaids in the game, but again, there is no conclusive evidence as to what it actually is. It may simply just be some unknown entity that peeks its head out of the water in Pelican Town every once in a while. While the mysterious green creature is likely just an Easter egg, the mystery of the sea monster persists.
Because of her mysterious behavior, I have decided to name her Mystery.
One of the strangest mechanics in Stardew Valley is the ability to dismiss your children. By bringing them to the witch's hut and using the dark shrine of selfishness and a prismatic shard, you can turn them into doves. This sets your children free and relieves you of your responsibility as a parent. As if parenting in Stardew Valley is really that hard. Like, I get it, the children are a little bit creepy with their blank stares at midnight, their inability to age past toddlers, and the fact that they walk at turbo speed. You know what? No, I get it. Fuck them kids. But you don't just get away scot-free with your savage ways. See, when you choose to turn your children into doves, you unlock the potential for two special and horribly hilarious events to happen. In one event, you have the chance to answer a telephone call. One day you'll just waltz into your house, hear the telephone ring, and you pick it up, not expecting anything out of the ordinary, and then it says,
"You place the receiver to your ear and are met with a roiling, abrasive static. But wait, beneath it all, you can make out something else, an otherworldly voice.
You have forsaken us.
Now, I don't know why, but when I first discovered this, I literally was laughing out loud. Concerned Ape really had no chill when he coded this into the game. The second event happens when you watch TV on the 26th of fall if you've sacrificed your children in the past. Once you click on the TV, you'll see 3 question marks appear. And if you click on it, you'll hear the following message over static on the TV.
You brought this upon yourself. Now I'm free.
Accompanied by an image of an ancient doll on the TV screen, which will then pop out of the TV into your pockets. And as if that isn't creepy enough, later on, if you travel back to the witch's hut, an evil red version of the ancient doll will be there, and it will attack you. The doll can be killed, and once you do kill it, it turns into a bird and flies away. However, it will reappear every time you enter the witch's hut, so that's just great, right? The ancient doll also has a chance of appearing every time the player fishes on their farm. Now, if you played Stardew Valley for at least a little while, you know that ancient dolls can be found underground everywhere in Stardew Valley. Fans have theorized that it could be a ritual item connected to the Dark Shrine, as its excerpt suggests. Once the offering is made, the untold consequence is that it lets the doll and whatever is haunting it on the loose. On the whole, this is some pretty terrifying dark magic, and probably one of the strangest parts of Stardew Valley, if you ask me. Gunther is the museum curator of Pelican Town. Now, everything seems normal about him at first, until you realize that unlike most NPCs in Stardew Valley, players are unable to interact with or give gifts to Gunther to raise friendship levels in any way. The only interactions you can ever have with him is by donating your findings to the museum. He never leaves the museum, never attends any festivals, never goes to the saloon, and will only talk to you about matters concerning the library's collection. It's worth mentioning that Marlin and Gil from the Adventurers Guild don't accept gifts either, but at least Marlin will appear in festivals and Gil will attend the movie theater once Joja gets taken down. So at least they're seen interacting with people from time to time outside of the guild, but for some strange reason, when it comes to Gunther, everyone in Pelican Town never seems to notice or acknowledge his existence. Well, almost everyone. Vincent and Jazz do reference Gunther in an early cutscene about the sewer system. While this could be used as evidence against Gunther's ghostly state, one might note that children in media are often depicted as more receptive to otherworldly beings like ghosts, and they can see things that other adults are not able to. One other character that mentions Gunther in passing is Penny. She says something to the player about how Gunther will reward you for making donations. This could be explained by the fact that Penny spends a lot of time with Vincent and Jazz, as she is their babysitter and tutor. It's possible that the children's receptiveness to the other side has somewhat rubbed off on Penny since, she spends so much time with them. She's also very interested in historical artifacts and reads at the library very often. So it's possible that she has some sort of connection to Gunther, just like we do as the player. Aside from that, there are no other instances of any other NPCs referencing or even seeing Gunther. For instance, in one of Elliot's romantic cutscenes, it takes place inside the museum joined by all of the adults in Pelican Town, and yet Gunther is nowhere to be found. Nobody even mentions Gunther like, hey, thanks for letting us use the museum for this poetry reading or whatever the fuck we're doing here. It's like he was never there at all. It's possible that Gunther is the ghost of an archaeologist that died in the glittering boulder rock slide, and the museum collection is the unfinished business that's keeping him in the mortal realm. And some have noticed that Gunther's clothing doesn't quite fit with anybody's style in Stardew Valley. It may be that he's stuck in clothes from an older time from when he died. He's only ever seen outside to give you the rusty key to unlock the sewers, but he only does this after 60 donations are made to the museum. The donations could possibly be giving him more power, helping to resolve his unfinished business. And with that, he managed to escape the library for a short period of time. The only other time he's spotted outside of the museum is after you finish the community center. He can be seen looking at a bookshelf. And once again, no one interacts with him or acknowledges him at all in this scene. And it's possible that the supernatural nature of the Junimos at the community center allows him to enter. But we are the only ones who can actually see him. During the intro scene of a new Stardew Valley save file, we can see the player working at their mundane corporate cubicle job at the official Joja office building. Mentally drained with this uninteresting, uneventful life, the player decides to open a letter given to them by their grandfather to inherit his old, abandoned farm. But during this scene, players will likely notice a skeleton at a desk, leading some players to believe that this skeleton is none other than the player themselves, lifeless at their desk. Some theories suggest that not only are you dead, but so is everyone else in Pelican Town. And everyone is stuck in some sort of purgatory time loop. If this is what purgatory looks like, sign me the fuck up. This would explain why every year plays out exactly the same as the last, and why the NPCs only have the same set of repeated dialogue. This conspiracy could also illustrate why magic exists in this world, why the farmer doesn't need to pay rent or taxes, why no one ages, and most importantly, why we can speak to our grandfather in the afterlife. However, these types of theories that state they're all dead the whole time, it basically fits into most worlds and stories, meaning it's not very likely, but conveniently works for Stardew Valley's lore and setting. Plot twists like this oftentimes lower the quality of a story, and audiences usually tend to react to them poorly. But that won't stop fans from speculating when it comes to hit TV shows, movies, and video games. What if Sebastian, Stardew Valley's token emo boy, is actually half human, half shadow person? It is unknown who Sebastian's birth father really is, which has given fans a lot of room to speculate over who Robin's baby daddy really is. What exactly happened to Sebastian's father? Why isn't he in the picture anymore? Well, we can look to some dialogue from the only shadow person we know in the valley, otherwise known as Krobus. If you befriend Krobus to the point where you convince them to be your roommates, they have some intriguing dialogue.
If the other shadow people knew about our living arrangement, they would punish me.
Most of them despise humans, you know? It's possible that the other shadow people caught on to their relationship with Robin, and unpleasant things happened to Sebastian's father as a result. It would definitely explain why it never gets talked about. Sebastian also has some dialogue that raises a few questions. I snuck into the caves last night and got a nasty cut from a rock crab. Don't tell anyone, okay? Clearly, Robin doesn't want him going in the mines. Once you reach level 80 in the mines, you encounter these void spirit monsters called Shadow Shaman, and she probably doesn't want Sebastian to encounter one. Maybe they would kidnap him and claim them as their own. Another compelling piece of Sebastian dialogue can be unlocked after you have 2 children with him. I've had this recurring dream that our child is wearing a Shadow Shaman costume and sitting on a glowing pumpkin. Weird, huh?
That's suspicious.
Then you have the fact that Sebastian has black hair as opposed to his mother's auburn hair, dark eyes, dresses in all black, lives in the basement, and his favorite gifts are sashimi, frozen tears, pumpkin soup, void eggs, and obsidian. 2 of Krobus's loved gifts are pumpkins and void eggs, which he says are a great honor to receive as gifts. And he sells fish, which can be turned into sashimi, and obsidian can be found by breaking magma geodes, which can be found in level 80 and up from the mines, which, if I may remind you, that is where the other shadow people live. And there's also Sebastian's schedule. For the most part, he tends to stay up all night, sleep in, and only leave the house when the sun sets. Mood. The only days he leaves the house earlier is when it's raining, which is very interesting, considering Krobus says he can't go out into the sun and that he likes the moisture that the sewers provide. Now, when I first heard about this theory, I thought it was a little bit far-fetched, but the more I looked into it, the more it all kind of makes sense. Stardew Valley is one of those games that no matter how many times you play it, you'll always discover something new that you didn't know before. There are so many secrets to uncover. So many, in fact, that there is still at least one secret that no one has uncovered. YouTuber Unsurpassable Z asked Eric Barone, the creator of Stardew Valley, if there are any secrets in any capacity that people still don't know about. Barone responded by saying,
"There is one that I don't think anyone will ever figure out, but it's like there's a secret, I guess you might say, message. It was like originally revealing something that's like actually not even true anymore, but it's still, I don't think anyone's found it, and I don't know if anyone ever will, because it's like extremely obscure to find it."
With a game as big as Stardew Valley paired with how long it's been out, there are plenty of opportunities to add in little secrets and then just sort of forget how many you added to begin with. So it's hard to say if these undiscovered secrets will ever be revealed. And that, my friends, is all I have for this video. Now, I know there are plenty more Stardew Valley theories out there, and if I failed to mention your favorite one, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. I always read the comments. Or if you ever have any topics that you'd like to hear me talk about, feel free to leave those ideas in the comments below as well. Like I said, I read all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.